All right, number two, now we're going to look at what happens when we modify the amplitude. So this will occur when we have a coefficient in front of the trig function. Like for example, in part A, I see I have y equals 3 sine of x, and that's just literally multiplication. I'm not doing anything else to the graph, so nothing else is going to be modified, but every single y value will become multiplied by a factor of 3, which means this graph is going to look exactly the same as the sine graph above it, except its amplitude, it's going to go up to a maximum value of 3 instead of a maximum value of 1. So if you look at it, our graph itself isn't going to look any different. The only thing that's going to be changed is that I have labeled that maximum value as 3 instead of as 1, and that minimum value is negative 3 instead of negative 1. But if I look at B here, negative 5 cosine of x, well, I'm still going to have a maximum of 5 and a minimum of negative 5 like that. But this time, think about the cosine graph above it. The cosine graph normally starts at its maximum value and then goes down and runs through its cycle, like I'm showing with the green right there. And then that would be one full cycle, one full period of this graph. But if I have that negative in front, well, what does a negative do to a graph? When you throw it in front, it flips it upside down. So instead of starting at its maximum value, cosine is now going to start at its minimum value. So I'm going to start at negative 5, and then I'm going to run through my cycle. And every single tick mark, I'm going to go through one part of my cycle. So I can show one full period, just like that. Notice the graph is ending right where it started at that minimum value. So that is one full cycle right there. I've shown one period's worth of this cosine graph. It has been flipped upside down. So there we have a normal sine, a normal cosine, and then a modified sine multiplied by 3, and a modified cosine multiplied by negative 5, stretching it, changing its amplitude, and flipping it upside down.